Hey guys, it's time to talk about our experience of the Destiny multiplayer beta. Now, we did a video on the campaign PvE experience in our last video, which was fantastic. But there's quite a lot of juxtaposition, really, in quality, in my opinion, between the multiplayer and the not single player, but the story mode.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it's the one thing I will say about the normal story mode experience is it seems relatively polished. For the most part, there's a distinct lack of content.
Yeah, I think you're right.
But actually, it seems pretty much there. I mean, I don't have that many complaints about it. Whereas with the multiplayer, there's a lot left to be desired.
Yeah.
I think a lot of things are far too overpowered, and I think there's a distinct lack of knowledge, or they don't really tell you enough about what's good, if you know what I mean. Like, it's been a very lengthy period to figure out what's good, like with the different pulse rifles and things like this.
Yeah.
What works, it's very confusing.
It is very confusing. It's not clear. I mean, with other multiplayers, we'll take COD as an example, but we'll talk about why perhaps COD isn't the best comparison here later on. But just stick with me. So with COD, you can see the gun stats. Very simple. You know what's going to do what. Whereas in this game, it's really not clear at all.
You see the gun stats, but the gun stats don't mean anything. I mean, sure, obviously they do, but like, it gives you an attack value. What does that attack value really mean? Well,
exactly.
I don't really know.
And then you have impact.
And you have all the other bits, like obviously rate of fire. That's fairly evident.
Yes.
But actually, like impact, because according to a survey study thing that somebody did, basically impact is far more important than weapon power. Certainly in the PvP element, not in the normal story mode.
This whole time, I've just been picking the weapon that has the highest weapon power.
So I think actually it's this system that's basically, if you find a weapon that you're comfortable with and you enjoy the recoil, whatever, it's probably better than just a more powerful weapon, which is a very strange idea to me. Something with a strong impact and less recoil is going to be more powerful than a weapon with perhaps 6 or 7 more attack value.
Yes, which is annoying because all you really ever look at is the attack value, because that's what you want to do.
Well,
you want to get the good
that's the only
weapons,
stat that we know.
Exactly.
That is clearly based on that we can actually judge.
So that's a weird thing.
Yeah, so I just think in general, like the supers as well, these things that the hunters where they fire this like golden weapon. I think that's
and the Titans when they punch the ground.
I think they're generally overpowered. I think you get them too often because they are just one-shot kills in every manner of respect.
It does. Yeah, I mean, my problem with that is that
you don't even have to aim them well.
You don't even have to aim them well. It takes such little effort to use it. You can be strolling along, absolutely decimating the other team. Really getting a good score together, and you're really getting into it, and then someone can come around with their supercharged ability and just kill you in one with no effort, and there's nothing you could do about it.
But at the same time, I will also then argue that actually, because there's no rewards to playing exceptionally well, like obviously you're supposed to cap bases and you are supposed to kill people, but actually there's no
kill streaks.
There's no rewards to going on a kill streak. So actually, if you die on a 5, that's no different from dying on a 10. Like, apart from a bit of personal satisfaction, which personally I don't care about on this game.
Yeah.
It's a bit irrelevant. It's annoying, but it's just something that you're going to have to get used to with this game.
What it really does is,
there are things I will say that you have to get used to with this game. You will just have to get used to elements of it because they are different and they're not necessarily what you will enjoy.
Personally, I'm very competitive when I play multiplayer, so I'm always looking to put a great score together. No matter, even if there's no consequences, I just want to do really well.
Well, so do I, but I just think
when I get taken out by that weapon, it's
but with this game, I just don't care, because I personally feel like with this, more than anything else, in every other game, I've been competing with other people. In this game, I would actually sit there and argue I'm competing against myself because I want to complete challenges and I want to do certain things. And in that sense, I don't really care if I get a 1. Obviously, I'd much rather get a 3 or a 4 because that's how my brain works. But actually, if I complete my challenge, I don't care if I get a 1.
Well, yeah, sure. I mean, I think that's personally, I think that detracts from the game, but that's how the game is supposed to be.
Yeah.
At the end of the
day. So
day.
if you don't enjoy it, then that's just kind of tough tits in a way. That's what they've come out and said. That's how they've designed it. If you don't enjoy it, you can shove it up your arse. Is what they're basically saying.
Speaking of enjoyability, this is a more vague point that I'd like to make. But I don't find the game massively fun. It's not the most enjoyable multiplayer I've played. It doesn't have the thrill that Titanfall, provides. It doesn't have the gritty, hardcore, just competitive element that, shooters like COD or I don't play Counter-Strike, but that kind of game provides. So I don't know really what it's doing, what the point of the multiplayer is, what it's really offering me. It doesn't have the fun that Halo has when you jump in a Ghost and zoom about the place. So it seems to me to be this sort of strange halfway kind of game that doesn't know what it is. in terms of the multiplayer.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily going to disagree with that. I think it's a little bit harsh.
Perhaps it's a little harsh. And we might be holding it to a standard that it's or not single player.
This is the thing
the
that
story
I think
is set.
we have to almost view it differently, because it's really it's very obviously not trying to be a true PvP. I know that doesn't make a lot of sense, but they've very much done it as a sort of, okay, if you're bored playing the PvE, obviously you're supposed to work towards it in the PvE element of you're supposed to get better weapons, etc. But really, it's just supposed to be there for, a little bit of challenges and whatever. It's not supposed to be a proper experience. You're not supposed to necessarily enjoy it in the same way. I know that sounds stupid, because obviously you're meant to enjoy it.
No, I think that's a really important point. The reason I'm playing this game isn't for the multiplayer.
No.
I was interested to see what the multiplayer would be like.
Absolutely.
Don't get me wrong.
And I think it will be improved come launch.
Of course it will. But I bought this game to play this MMO type thing that we haven't seen before on consoles.
No.
That's what I'm here for.
Exactly. So I think, although I don't think it's fair, to sit here and say, well, that's the only reason I'm playing it, and therefore it doesn't matter that the multiplayer is perhaps not the best, because obviously, it would be nice for it to be the best multiplayer experience ever as well.
Oh.
That would be great. But, you can't have everything in this world, and at the end of the day, they've taken it in a very specific direction, and I think later, perhaps, this will mean something. I think it will either develop into something, or they'll develop game types, etc., that really work with this, and I don't think we've seen the end of it. I think there will be some serious improvements to come. But at the moment, what we've seen is it is certainly a weak iteration of what you would want from.
What I would say, it's one of those games that when I'm playing it and doing really well, I'm like, shit, this is such a good multiplayer. And then when things aren't going well, I'm like, oh my god, it's the worst game ever.
But then at the same time,
everything, and I want to kill kittens.
But I always feel like that with COD. And actually, I think the thing that I will always say is that actually, when COD comes out or when Battlefield comes out, that's the finished game. This is only the beta. So the fact that I feel like that already, in a way, is kind of promising, because at least you get those highs. There are those moments where you're on a 5 kill streak and you just dick on everyone with your normal weapon. You're like, you know what, actually, this is good. And actually, the fact that it has that is a real positive, because it could easily not have had that at all. And then it would be really pointless.
I think the reason, I get so. I think the reason why it's worse when you're doing badly is because it's quite difficult to pull it back.
But there's no. But this again is one of those things that I will say. There's no need to pull it back. There's no point of pulling it back. So you just have to forget about that. You just have to. It's like in Halo. It's like if you get a 5 KD, great. But it's absolutely meaningless. It's absolutely meaningless in this. So you just have to look at it and say, if I'm playing in a way that I enjoy it, even if I get a 0.2 KD, if I've enjoyed it, then actually it succeeded, because it's not trying to be a hardcore, sweaty, play well game.
If you're like me, then
you just have to adapt how you are, I think.
Well, yeah, possibly yes.
You just have to adapt how you enjoy
but if you are stuck in your ways, like I am a little bit, when it comes to multiplayer, and you just want to dick on some retards and get a great score together, then you'll either struggle playing this game, or you'll just have to change.
One thing that I will always say in comparison to me and AJ is that I've always taken, obviously, COD really seriously. Like for all the years that it's been out, I've taken it super seriously.
Sure.
The one difference is that I've always been very objective based in terms of, not only did I see the benefit from playing the objective in terms of, the points that you used to get in, say, Black Ops 2 would actually help towards your kill streak, but also I actually enjoy that element of it. And I think actually if you don't enjoy that element of it, like AJ doesn't in the same way, he's much more about going around and getting his kill streak. Like I may actually end up with the same kill streak as him, but generally I get a few more points.
Sure.
Because I play the
objective. It manifests
and
itself in Titanfall, because I very rarely get my Titan.
Exactly.
Because all I want to do is run around shooting people.
Whereas I'm quite happy to shoot other Titans, and then actually when there's no Titans, I can kill the people.
Yeah.
So actually, although it doesn't make me necessarily a better player, and actually we get generally similar scores for the most part.
Yeah.
We play the game very differently, and actually
I
think
we do,
because of the way that I play
You're more
the game,
suited to this.
I enjoy this a lot more than he does, because there's nothing really offered for him here. So either he has to change his fucking ways and stop being such a bell sprout.
I'm setting my ways
and stop being such a bell sprout, or he has to fucking accept the fact that he just won't enjoy the PvP.
I think
because it's not designed for you, sir.
I would clarify. It's not that I don't enjoy it. It's not bad.
No, sure. It's just not as good as it could be, I think, is the criticism levied against it.
Yeah.
But then again, you've got to look at it and say it's in beta, and they will improve it. I don't know to what extent they're going to improve it, but it will obviously be improved. There'll be lots more maps, because, again, at the moment, it's very funneled in terms of if you spawn at A, you take A, then you either go to C or B, and then whichever one you capture, the enemy will spawn at the other one. You know what I mean? And you go in this circle. You follow each other around in this circle.
Odd.
So that as soon as the enemy takes A, you've taken C. And then when you're capping A, they're taking C again. And it's this weird circle.
Indeed.
So I think they'll maybe fix that, and with new game types, that'll be different, and it'll be interesting to see how that works out. But at the moment, it's very strange. It's very
not your classic COD where your team takes A, the other team takes C, and then you fight over B. And then occasionally you take the other people's bases,
and then you swap spawns.
And then you swap spawns. It's not like that.
No, this is a constant, like, spawns are not a thing in terms of they will just happen wherever they happen.
And you just take whatever base you want. I mean, in COD, if you've taken A, you don't want to take C because you'll stop the spawns.
Although obviously we've only played this game for a couple of days and whatnot, it also seems the case that actually when you're capping a base, the chance are you will just cap the base uninterrupted.
Very easy, because they're already capping the opposite base.
So it's very unlikely that you're going to have to defend yourself while capping a base.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, we've literally just watched that point be counteracted, but for the most part, that's not the issue. So I mean, it's just a very, very different experience, and you should not, I repeat, not buy this game if you're looking for the multiplayer.
I think that'd be silly. I certainly haven't.
If you don't enjoy the Fable idea of getting equipment and playing the campaign and the sort of World of Warcraft idea, that kind of thing, then this game is absolutely not for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And these problems with the multiplayer, they don't bother me that much at all because I'm not here for that.
Yeah, sure.
It's fine. And the multiplayer is still decent.
Yeah, it's still playable.
Yeah.
So, that's all you can ask for.
Anyway, hope you guys have found the video interesting. We'll be posting more Destiny when it comes out, and we'll see you guys later.
See you.